Today I'm going to talk to you about how to access and use Springer's free API in order to potentially make your research more efficient. Now before I start, I'm just going to remind everyone to do responsible research and be mindful before creating something new. Not all technological and research developments will be beneficial to humankind. Now, back to the tutorial. So what is Springer's API? It's a public interface where you can programmatically retrieve data on papers, books, and other published materials. For example, let's say you wanted to retrieve a list of a few dozen papers on your favorite topic and read their abstracts. Then, you could do that with this API. How can you gain access to it? First, you need an API key. Go to dev.springernature.com and sign up for one. You need to provide some details, and then they'll give you a key. Now, I'll show you how to use your key in a program. I'll be using Python, but it's so simple that you should be able to use it in any language. Let's open a sample Python program. As you can see, this program just fits on a single screen. Unless, of course, you're using 640 by 480 resolution. The good old days. Anyway, we're going to need two Python libraries, JSON and requests. We are importing JSON because the data returned to us will be in JSON format. However, you can also select PAM or JATS format too, but I won't be showing that here. To make it simple, I've also put a keyword to search as a variable. Now, put your API key also as a variable. I've stored mine in a file because you're not supposed to share it with others, but you can put your own free API key in a variable and ignore lines 7 to 9. The next step is to retrieve the data. I'll store it in a JSON file, but you can just manipulate it directly. However, it might be nice to have a file stored somewhere so you can do other things with it later. Now comes the important part, the URL. The query is sent by making a custom URL to api.springernature.com. You see that I've put JSON here. Well, you can change that to PAM format if you want. Next, supply your API key. The Q variable is your query. You can specify it in a variety of ways, but using double parentheses makes it more readable. Notice that I've separated two parameters by AND. You can use various Boolean operators here, and the Springer API website has a list of different parameters that you can specify. For example, you can even specify an exact DOI, a given year, or you can restrict the subject and much more. The P variable stores the maximum number of results, although you may get fewer. Now you can use the request's get function to retrieve the response and store it into a file. I'll close the file here, though obviously that's just to logically separate the program. Now you can open the JSON file. I'll open a separate markdown file to store my data in. In this case, I'll want to store the title and the abstracts of each paper. The way to access the JSON data is to iterate over all records in the dictionary in the JSON file. Each record has various keys. For example, in my program, I'm accessing the title and abstract keys, but there are also keys for creators, for the authors, publication name, publication date, etc. In fact, using all this extra data, you could automatically generate a LaTeX bibliography and then quickly write down some notes based on abstracts and create an exploratory research journal of some kind with notes for further exploring. Check out the JSON file for further information. Now, if you look at the markdown file I just created, you can see it contains a big list of papers with abstracts that I can read at my leisure. Anyway, that's the long and short of it. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and I'll see you again next time.